We have some news just coming in. These are pictures that we are getting live from the Indian Air Force Day that is being commemorated today. The Air Force Day to be celebrated at the Sukna Lake in Chandigarh. Celebration venues outside Delhi NCR for the very first time. President Draupadi Murmu, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh are attending the Indian Air Force event. The show today, the 90th Air Force Day, will witness newly inducted LCH Prachand on display. This is the light combat helicopter. The Governor of Punjab and the Administrator of Chandigarh as well as the Governor of Haryana are present in this program. The Chief Ministers of both the states, Punjab and Haryana, also possibly will be present at this event is what we know.
Being deployed at high altitude. The advanced light helicopter, Dhruv, next to the Akash system, is a twin.
My colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu is getting us more details on that big story. And the big highlight of this event today is the display of the light combat helicopter, just recently, Kamal, inducted into the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army, isn't it?
Well, Chandigarh has greeted the Indian Air Force with a cloudy sky. It may be difficult, but we've already beginning to see the acrobats in the air. And there you see the air warriors up there. But clearly a big day for Chandigarh. We're expecting a crowd of nearly 40,000, especially to show up at the Sukna Lake where air show. And remember, this is the first time it's been bifurcated into two. We have with us Ashish Mogi, he's Wing Commander. He's joining us. Sir, we're looking at a huge excitement. Also making a debut is the LCH, the Light Combat Helicopter Prachanda. But do tell us, how is the sort of excitement really building up to the event, considering it's already begun now? But the Sukna Lake event itself, how do you see it? Is bad weather or cloudy weather going to be some sort of impediment?
Well, firstly, wish you a very happy Air Force Day. And secondly, about the bad weather part, I think the weather is as of now okay. We should be able to go through with the entire fly past. However, depending on the weather in the afternoon, the pilots will take their individual decisions based on their personal minimas and whatever SOPs we have in place. But we are hopeful that we will go through with the entire fly past that is planned.
Because we saw a spectacular show on the 6th. We saw Surya Kiran, and a lot of people doubting whether the weather will really allow that. But what can Chandigarh and what can the country look forward to today?
I think the show will be as spectacular as it was on 6th, and we can look forward to a great show. And the country and Chandigarh, they will both, enjoy and be enthralled by the Indian Air Force today.
Completely enthralled, and let me just try and specify here, the tie itself has a lot of fighter jets. But just try and show you a glimpse of the crowds which has actually gathered here. So we do expect Rashtrapati Draupadi Murmu to make an appearance, and obviously she's the main chief guest at Sukna Lake. Also Raksha Mantri. But clearly, as far as the skies are concerned, it may be cloudy, but it's not going to dampen the effect, especially on the air warriors. So we do expect a spectacular show of 40 minutes or so, and obviously a crowd of 40,000. And remember, for the first time, it's moved from Hindon, from the New Delhi base itself, to go into regional areas. And Chandigarh is very important in terms of geostrategic importance of being close to Jammu and Kashmir, close to Leh Ladakh. Also, as a backup base, it's extremely crucial. And also, if we can try and show you at the display, is obviously on the extreme left is the LCH. Then there is also Tejas. Both the Make in India stamp itself written very, very vastly out here. These are helicopters, aircraft, Tejas, and we also see Akash, we see Rohini. All these are strategically placed now, not just for the audience itself, but clearly what we will see in air is a lot of action. There are going to be 83 flights, which is 40 of them will be the fighter jets. Then we are also going to be looking at 20 helicopters. We're going to see vintage helicopter. And yes, the march past has now begun. Let's just try and get you a sense of the march past. And this is a musical rendition going on. And clearly, this is the beginning of the Air Force Day. And remember, this is going to be going for 12 by First half is right here at the Air Force Station. The second half, which is the more exciting one, going to be at Sukna Lake. So clearly all eyes on the ground and all eyes up in the air to see the spectacular show.
All right, all eyes up in the air to see the spectacular show, but coming back to the ground for a moment, also the big talking point today, the Chief of the Indian Air Force will be unveiling, Kamal, the new combat uniform, and that too is a much look forward to event, isn't it?
Yes, obviously, this is going to be unveiling of the uniform and it's going to be very important and significant. We've been told it's going to be a light grey digital print with boots. The entire uniform is all set to make its debut right here, and this is where the unveiling is done. We were here on the 6th and obviously they ensured that there was no sneak peek, that the surprise would be unveiled today. So yes, this is going to be one of the key factors, especially in the first half itself. And before, what we see is the spectacle in the air, where planes are going to pirouette in the sky, just like a ballerina does. But yes, since it's been 90th anniversary, a lot of people have high anticipation about the performance, especially of the Air Force. One part is the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Atmanirbhar Air Force that we're looking at, and that is where the Made in India stamp becomes extremely significant. The second is obviously about the new uniform, how suitable it really that is. A lot of thought process has gone in, because this is going to be a stamp as far as the Air Force is concerned for the next couple of decades. So very, very significant. We'll try and get in Ashish Moge once again, the Wing Commander. Sir, a lot of excitement building up regarding the uniform. Do tell us, how different is it going to be, say, from a Garud uniform or from the colors? Are we expecting something very different from the traditional uniform?
Yeah, if you go by the theme of this time's parade, that is transforming for the future, so the uniform is also modifying itself for the future. So the design has been such, it's a digital camo pattern which has been designed, and it's going to be for the future use of the air warriors.
Because we see a camouflage digital print, so do we expect a change in color as well? Because blue is the color as far as Air Force is concerned. So do we see a bluish grey transformation?
Well, you'll have to just hold on to that for a little while. The new uniform will be revealed in due course. In just about an hour and a half from now, you will get the entire this thing. You will be able to see the uniform.
But on ground, how fast is that transformation going to be visible vis-a-vis the change as far as the men and the women wearing it?
Well, it starts from today, and hopefully in a few months we should be able to completely change all the uniforms.
So the transformation will be visible in a couple of months, but clearly it's going to be unveiled today. Behind me is the spectacle that is to begin just about any point of time now. The Air Force flag up, and obviously a proud moment as far as the Air Force is concerned, and we're getting you this particular sneak peek live from the Air Force Station in Chandigarh. And the Make in India stamp, the Made in India stamp is all over right here, with showcasing right from a light combat helicopter to the Prajanda to the Tejas, and that is where what we've seen is clearly the stamp which has come in. And yes, we'll try and show you a lot of media presence out here, and obviously Air Force trying to showcase its metal right here for the public. But most importantly is the Sukna Lake. We do expect that this being a weekend could actually be slightly better, because one, the traffic may not be a huge mess, but we expecting a crowd of 40,000. So that congestion is there. Dharampal, who's the advisor to the governor, has already mentioned that all stops are being plugged, and that is to ensure that this is going to be a smooth Air Force Day function, one of its first outside. And as per the Modi government, the directions being given to the Air Force as well as to all other units, that it cannot be centered just around Delhi. So that is why Chandigarh, being an important base, making a debut on the country's map as far as the Air Force Day function is concerned. So right from acrobatic measures being taken as far as Surya Kiran is concerned, which is going to be the highlight. We're going to see Tejas, we're going to see Rafale. All these will be up in the air and obviously dancing to a particular spot and the formations. And there you see the smart officers, all of them marching. And remember, we are seeing almost 188 participants as far as personnel are concerned, 42 officers leading them, and this is the marching contingent, air warriors as we call them, on ground, marching in tandem and giving that smart appearance as they come in the formation. And there you go, the Air Force marching to the tune, and clearly it's the pride of the nation which is on full display here.
Kamal, we'll keep coming back to you for more on that story, and we're staying with these pictures. The Indian Air Force's grand show to begin essentially any moment now. This time the Air Force Day 2022 is really all about the light combat helicopter.
The parade is now
for the
marching
moment,
in from your
it's time for a
right
quick
and
commercial
left,
break.
keeping in
We'll
step
continue to
with
focus
the
on that story on the other side.
The marching contingent will comprise 4 squadrons with 2 flights each.
The Indian Air Force Day on October 8th, which is today, is being commemorated. Air Force Day to be celebrated at Sukna Lake in Chandigarh. Celebration venue outside Delhi NCR for the very first time. President Draupadi Murmu, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh are attending the Indian Air Force show. The 90th Air Force Day is witnessing the newly inducted LCH Prachand on the display. The Governor of Punjab and the Administrator of Chandigarh, as well as the Governor of Haryana, will be present in this program.
Abhigyan Singh. Number 1 squadron commanded by Squadron Leader Arjun Malhotra. Number 2 squadron commanded by Squadron Leader Nikesh Dhami. The Nishan Toli led by Flight Lieutenant Chirag Shoran. Number 3 squadron commanded by Squadron Leader Vipin Kumar. Number 4 squadron commanded by Squadron Leader Ashish Ambar. Order of the day, and I quote, on the occasion of the 90th anniversary of Indian Air Force, I extend my warm greetings to all air warriors, NCs, DSC personnel and their families. Over the last 9 decades, the Indian Air Force has come a long way in transforming into one of the finest air forces in the world. We are witnessing an increasingly volatile, uncertain and complex geopolitical environment.
My colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu is getting us more details on that big story from the Chandigarh Air Force Station, where the 90th year celebrations of the Indian Air Force is on as we speak. And the big highlight, like you've been telling us, Kamal, is the much talked about Made in India light combat helicopter Prachand, which has just been inducted into the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army, isn't it?
Well, yes, this is going to be a spectacular performance, and behind me are already the scenes that you're seeing on ground, because Air Force is all ready and the show is to begin. We've already seen the Mi-17s flying in with the Air Force flag. Remember, this is going to be bifurcated into 2 parts. One part is the one which we see on ground. This is where we see the march past and unveiling of the new uniform. That is going to be extremely significant, because 90 years, this is where there's going to be a change and a transformation which is going to be seen for the first time. It will boost the morale of the Air Force, clearly bringing in the sort of change that is much required. We've been told it's a digital print. There will be aspects of it which will bring in a change in color. It's not going to be the unusual camouflage green color, but also we're talking about a bluish tinge, a grayish tinge that is usually associated with the blue skies. You can see all these formations now really taking part in the parade, and that's where the command has now been given. We do expect the Air Chief to make a short announcement. That is going to be a usual. But what is just different is, obviously, it's not just that it's based out of Hindon or Palam, from where years ago there would be all these parades and the air show being done. It's being moved to Chandigarh. It's going to be very, very geostrategic, because remember, Chandigarh is a very important and a vital base. Not only do they provide backup as far as formations are concerned, whether it is Jammu and Kashmir, Leh Ladakh, Ambala, across the western border, Chandigarh plays a very important role. The other part is obviously the air acrobatic, the air show, which is going to be in Sukna Lake. We are expecting a huge participation of 40,000 people, 1,000 VVIPs. We are also looking at Draupadi Murmu, the president, to be present there. The chief ministers, Bhagwant Mann, Manohar Lal Khattar. We do expect the governors, the advisors. So all lanes leading today from Chandigarh will be towards Sukna Lake. One thing is that this is being a Saturday, a weekend, perhaps there would be some sort of a respite. But clearly, as far as the excitement is concerned, the weather is cloudy. It's not going to dampen in any way the parade or the morale. We see the air warriors, at least we've seen 83 aircrafts which will be flying in today, 40 of them fighter jets. We are also looking at least 20 helicopters. We're looking at 2 vintage helicopters and aircrafts. So all this is going to be very, very important and crucial. Perhaps on a time and a day when we're looking at inspiration, and nothing beats the Indian Air Force when it comes to that. So clearly, high morale on the ground, up in the air, and yes, we're looking at a very, very spectacular sky. Ashish Bhoge continues to be on India Today. He's the spokesperson. Do tell us, sir, a lot of excitement now building up. We're looking at a 40,000 crowd. What is going to be the highlight? Because personally asking me, Surya Kiran, the formations and the way the acrobats are done out in the air is anything to ask for. But to you, being a man in uniform, what is important?
Well, you know, to reassure the country that we are there, like you can see the 3 helicopters right behind us.
We have to show you the spectacular visuals.
So now, as you can see, the 3 helicopters have just passed. This is the Rudra formation. 3 ALH Mark 4 helicopters have just passed from here. And we intend to thrill the crowd of Chandigarh, and we intend to reassure them that the Air Force is there and it is there to protect you.
Obviously, we'll try and get from a woman Air Force warrior. Berlin Pawar is here. Ma'am, do join us live on India Today. It's a spectacular show, a beautiful performance throughout the day. But as somebody who's been associated with the Air Force, how important and significant is today's day, the unveiling of the new uniform?
So it's very important for all of us, because as I've you can see here, the display is all indigenous. The aircraft, radar, missile system, everything is indigenous. The uniform is also changing. So we are just changing with the time and as per our requirement. So yes, it's a main event.
Making the debut is the LCH Prachanda, the light combat helicopter. We've already seen LCA, which is Tejas, the aircraft. But how important and significant is the Made in India stamp compared to the world view about how we've been procuring Rafale, the other material? Made in India, how important is that?
So the most important thing which comes with Make in India is zero dependency on the foreign vendors. So the moment we have our own aircraft, in case of any unforeseen circumstances, we are not depending on any other agency for the maintenance and for upkeep of the system. So it gives us a better turnover and a better turnaround time.
Also, men and women, both air warriors, walking shoulder to shoulder. We try and give you a sneak view about the parade which is simultaneously going on. But Berlin, we'll speak to you. You've been an important part of the Air Force. How do you see this, especially when it comes to gender equality, about Air Force not only marching on ground but shoulder to shoulder even in the skies?
So Kamaljeet, I'll say that when you wear this uniform, you are no more a girl or a boy. You are a soldier. So there is no place for gender discrimination. What all matters is how good a leader you are and how well you can lead your team during the unforeseen circumstances. So gender doesn't stand a chance.
Beautifully said. But we're also looking at certain challenges. Pakistan on one end, China on the other end. We're looking at a massive aircraft, and obviously China has the wherewithal. But how do you see the challenge, especially coming in from India?
So India, as you say, that every day we are having some or the other modernization. So we are preparing ourselves, and we are ready to face any challenge, not only with our machines, but also with our expert pilots.
Lean, mean machines, Berlin talking to us, but clearly look at this beautiful march which is going on. This is the 90th anniversary, and clearly for Air Force it's a very big day. For people of Chandigarh, for people coming in from Punjab and Haryana, to see this up close is going to be significant. Remember, this is the Air Force station in Chandigarh, but in some time from now, when the action moves to Sukhna, that is where we're going to see a spectacular 83 aircrafts all going up. 44 of them will going to be the fighter jets. We're looking at 20 helicopters, 2 vintage aircrafts. All this is going to be part of a pattern, and we're going to see all these aircrafts doing a pirouette like a ballerina. And the air show that we saw on the 6th was very, very spectacular. The weather may have been cloudy today, but we do expect the show is going to be no less spectacular than the one which was on the rehearsal. But clearly, as far as the morale is concerned, and it is going to be all the 3 states. We're looking at Punjab, Haryana, people coming in from neighboring Himachal, and even from Chandigarh, who are going to go and witness this historical day taking place right here in Chandigarh.
Kamal getting us all of those details from the Indian Air Force Day, which is being celebrated today. It's celebrated every year on the 8th of October this year. Marks the 90th anniversary celebration of the Indian Air Force. Kamal continues to be with us, getting us all the details. Kamal, you were in fact telling us that it's a spectacular sky. Do tell us what else is expected. You mentioned in great detail about the Surya Kiran formation, which of course is actually the most anticipated event year after year, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, because the show is divided into 2 halves. The first half is where what we see is the marching contingent. That's what we see. And in short time from now, unveiling of the new uniform, a digital print which will be seen by one and all. And in months from now, we will see all these air warriors change and see that digital print from the combat uniform change its colors from green to what is called the bluish grey. And that also what will be done is the crowd will then significantly move from this particular venue to that of Sukhna Lake, and that's where the civilian population, the people from Aam Aadmi, the sort of common man, will get a sense of how things are really unfold. Because what looks like a simple acrobat are something which are extremely complicated. They are going to be the helicopters, so we're going to see Prachanda, the light combat helicopter, making its debut. We will see spectacular efforts as far as Tejas is concerned, Rafale is concerned, Trishul formation, the Surya Kiran formation, all of them making right from any design from the heart to that of a diamond. That is something which all eyes are going to be up in the sky. Hopefully the weather will turn out to be much better. There are light rains which are predicted, but we're also looking at 40,000 crowds. So all roads today in Chandigarh are leading towards Sukhna Lake. A big excitement building up. And before that, if we can try and show you, a lot of people out here, a huge media contingent covering this entire thing. But clearly, as far as Air Force is concerned, we are looking at huge crowds which have gathered here to look at this. And it's not limited to Delhi, to the Hindon, to Palam. This venue itself has brought in a lot of integration, especially as far as the region is concerned, from people coming in from all walks of life who will be looking at. And we've been told this place is obviously in the Sukna region going to be overbooked, because people in the vicinity are going to all be looking up the sky. So those who cannot make it to Sukna are going to line up with their friends who stay in the close vicinity of Sukna and try and get a glimpse. And remember, we saw some spectacular performance on the 6th, which was the rehearsal. But today is the finale, and Draupadi Murmu as the president will be the chief guest. Raksha Mantri is going to accompany her. We are also looking at a great line of VVIPs, and obviously we are looking at a huge deal of traffic jam. But this is because it's the 90th Air Force Day. Nobody in Chandigarh wants to miss this particular show. So all roads are really leading up to Sukna Lake. So after the first half is done, people will move away. And remember, this is going to be a great deal of inspiration, because this is not limited to just one function in a closed environment. This is for all the people who can actually look up in the skies and really enjoy the enthralling performance and see the skills of lean, mean machines. The air warriors, both men and women, perform for the audience, and obviously this would prove to be greatly inspirational for the armed janta. And let's see, we would perhaps get more heroes. There is also participation from Chandigarh residents, so a lot of them who've made it to the Air Force will be performing, and that is going to...
Perseverance and vision of our predecessors. It will only be right to acknowledge the contributions of our veterans who have charted this course, and now the onus is on us to usher the Air Force into the centenary decade. My salute to the former chiefs for steering the Air Force in the right direction, and my assurance to them that I, ably supported by all Air Warriors, will lead the Air Force to scale even greater heights. On behalf of all Air Warriors, I would like to pay homage to our fallen braves who made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. Today is an occasion to renew our allegiance to the Constitution of India, and as preservers of integrity and sovereignty of our country, we owe it to our future generations. On this historic occasion, it is my privilege to announce that the government has approved the creation of a weapon system branch for the officers in the Indian Air Force. This is the first time since independence that a new operational branch is being created. This will essentially be for manning of 4 specialized streams of surface-to-surface missiles, surface-to-air missiles, remotely piloted aircraft, and weapon systems operators in twin and multi-crew aircraft. Creation of this branch would result in savings of over 3,400 crores due to the reduced expenditure on flying training. Induction of Air Warriors into the Indian Air Force through the Agnipath scheme is a challenge for all of us. But more importantly, it is an opportunity for us to harness the potential of India's youth and channelize it towards the service of the nation. We have changed our operational training methodology to ensure that each Agniveer is equipped with the right skills and knowledge to start their career in the Air Force. In December this year, we would be inducting 3,000 Agniveer Vayu for their initial training. This number will only go up in the years to come to ensure adequate staffing. We are also planning on induction of women Agniveers starting next year. Creation of infrastructure is in progress, and streamlining of trade structures is being finalized. In the last 1 year, we have had our share of challenges, and the Air Force has taken these challenges head-on and with all guns blazing. Continued deployment along our borders, HADR operations, or rescuing stranded Indians from conflict zones. We have seen the entire spectrum of roles and tasks laid down for the Air Force being undertaken. We are well and truly prepared to take on everything that comes our way, and the credit for that goes to all of you. The traditional domains of land, sea and air have expanded to include space and cyber. We are increasingly seeing the convergence of all these domains into one continuum in the form of hybrid warfare. The use of non-kinetic and non-lethal warfare to supplement kinetic means has changed the way wars will be prosecuted. Therefore, conventional systems and weapons will need to be augmented by modern, flexible and adaptive technology. Technology has given us the wherewithal to be innovative. We need to accept the fact that tomorrow's conflicts cannot be fought with yesterday's mindset. To be able to execute all missions in an environment of denial will increasingly be the basis of our training in the Air Force. Keeping this in mind, there is a need to plan for integrated and joint application of combat power. The key to success in multi-domain operations is to have flexible, robust, redundant command and control structures, which will allow a joint force to dominate across the domains. No single service can win a war on its own. Work is in progress to enhance jointness amongst the three services. The theme for this year's anniversary celebrations, Indian Air Force, Transforming for the Future, is very apt and highlights the Indian Air Force's need to redefine, reimagine and recalibrate to transform into a contemporary and future-ready force. Our fighting potential has to be sustained over the years through the induction of new generation fighters, AWACS, AEWC and flight refueling aircraft. We have initiated necessary steps to ensure our fighter squadron strength remains at the desired level. Indigenous development of 6 AEWC Mark II has been sanctioned and we are actively pursuing the acquisition of I-STAR, UAVs, counter-UAS technology and also strengthening our networks. Modern armed forces have to be sufficiently self-reliant to ensure minimum disruptions. Towards this, Atmanirbharta and Make in India is a step in the right direction. Our indigenous operational network, AFNET, the backbone of all air operations, the IACCS, one of the largest maintenance management protocols, the EMMS, and the fact that we are completely paperless in our offices through the e-office application is a testimony to our commitment towards becoming self-reliant. The light combat aircraft, advanced light helicopter, Akash, Astra, and BrahMos are a few examples of the indigenous hardware that has already been inducted and operationalized. We have also signed a contract for 83 LCA Mark 1A and are fully committed to the development of the LCA Mark II